Anyway, for this video, I'm going to be talking about, school shooters are pathetic. And I wanted to bring this subject up for a while now, since I've been seeing a lot about it since primary school and high school and throughout my years of life. And I just really wanted to go on about it and why I believe these bunch of just idiots and losers who decide to pull off these stunts of killing kids in a school because they didn't get the right education or the right amount of friends, or they were losers and they never had girlfriends, blah blah blah, and they couldn't exceed in society, so they decided to shoot up the school because they were bullied for their whole lives. And I understand bullying does suck, and I'm not subjecting that, because it is a thing that happens every day in your life. I've been through it myself, so I'm not gonna go and say that it's not a problem. It is a massive problem in society. Bullying as a whole is such a massive problem that it has, done such bad things to a lot of kids around the world. Like, it has killed a bunch of kids. Kids have suicide over this stuff. But the reality where you take your own hands and buy a gun and decide to shoot up the school, yeah, you're fucking cooked. I don't care. You literally are a loser. You are a loser. You're a person who doesn't give a fuck about anything else besides, shooting up the school and caring about that. I get it. You're going through something tough. You're going through depression. You're going through this kind of anxiety and antisocialness that you fucking hate your life and you hate everyone around you, till you have a point where you just can't fucking stand it anymore. So you break and start saying, you know what, I'm gonna fucking shoot up the school because who fucking cares? And I understand that. There's a lot of kids who have done school shootings, in a sense, like Eric Harrison and Dylan Keeble, and they both did their school shooting. And the thing is about that, it was a horrible school shooting. A lot of kids died. They were depressed, sure, but they had some fucking sick, twisted mindset that they were believing that they were doing good. They believed that this plan would fucking exceed, and it did exceed. It exceeded where they wanted to exceed. They didn't get to kill a bunch of kids, not as much as they wanted to, but instead they got other people who did. Other kids who followed in their own directions to, do this shit. And the thing is, how horrible that was such a fucking understatement. It fucking killed so many kids. Like, they have a huge number now because of just how many kids have followed in their same footsteps. And I hate kids who admire them, because there's no point in admiring them. They're horrible fucking people. It doesn't matter. Erica Harrison and Dylan Keeble, sure, they should have gotten the mental health or therapists or whoever they could get to actually fix that kind of mindset that they were having at the time. I generally believed Eric Harrison was definitely a psychopath, and Dylan Keeble was there to help. He could have got the help that he needed because he was not fully gone, but you could tell that he was getting there because of Eric. And them as friends wasn't a good idea either, because they both influenced each other. They had bad motives for each other, because sure, they were friends, they were close buddies, and they had desires to achieve things in life, but they were generally bad kids that shouldn't have been together. They should have just not actually had any contact with each other. And I can't blame the parents, because they didn't know at the time, or they did know at the time because it was reported a bunch of times. Eric Harrison and Dylan Keeble broke into a van at one time, and so I guess they knew that they were a bad influence on each other. But I guess, kids act like kids, so I guess they decided to let it go. But the thing is, it was a horrible choice to let it go, because look at where it went now. Because Eric Harrison and Dylan Keeble were actually planning on doing something that would shock the fucking world to its core, and it's leading to more school shootings. More shootings that are happening every fucking year, because kids at school keep getting bullied. There's so many kids that actually idolize these people, and it's just sad. It's so depressing that they have to fucking idolize school shooters instead of getting the help that they need, or talking to someone or a friend that they can have. And I get it, a lot of kids don't have friends in school. Like, it's really hard to make friends now. I think it's worse than it was, back then now. It's such a tedious task to make friends now. And I get it, a lot of kids don't get to have friends, and it sucks. I seen a lot of people from my school who didn't have friends at the time, and they never ended up as a school shooter. They never decided, let's shoot up the fucking school, because I fucking hate my life, and I hate everyone around me, and people who bullied me, and people who fucking decided to shit on me. And the thing is, everyone has this kind of mentality of, getting to, do these shootings because they idolize these shooters, or they had such a bad, bring up. And even then, for some kids who didn't have a bad bring up, they just decide to do it anyway because they don't find a girlfriend. They don't have this, status in high school as a popular kid. And I get it, you want to be popular in school, but even then, kids who are popular in school, they end up probably sad and miserable. Like, literally, they actually do. I would believe that most of the kids from my high school who were popular at the time are probably fucking miserable, or they're still in fucking, shit. They're still in fucking shit. And they're still, in a shitty situation because of how horrible the environment it is and the money status of this country is. It's sickening, but it's actually true. A lot of people who are actually, popular in school, they don't actually get to, establish a actual worldwide connection. And even if they do, even for the rich kids, they're still fucking sad. Like, there's still depression. It doesn't matter if you're rich or you're successful in life, you're still going to be depressed no matter what. It ends up becoming a factor. Not now, maybe 20 years later, 40 years later. It doesn't matter when it happens. And if it doesn't happen for you, then you're one of the lucky ones. But it does happen. Everyone gets to fucking depressed. And the thing is about Eric and Dylan, they have influenced so many kids out there who have committed even more school shootings. Like, there's Nicholas Cruz, that's one of them. It was the Parkland High School shooter. I'm not going to say the whole school name, but you probably get what I'm meaning. And they had so much influence on so many kids in these days, because I checked and I looked up so many kids who were influenced by Eric and Dylan at the time of the Columbine shooting, and it's there. Like, there's so many kids that were influenced by these type of people, and it's sad because, like, just why are you influenced by these people? Why did your mindset decide to go deep into that kind of shit? Because you don't really know why the reason they decide to just take this chance. Because maybe they're just lonely and they just don't fit into society. I get it, a lot of people don't fit into this, their norms. You know what I mean? The norms, the normal people. And they decide to come up with their own way of, fitting into their own circle of people. Because you find a circle of people that do admire school shooters and people like that. And it's really shit because people turn to violence instead of, getting the mental health that they need. Because shooting up kids in school, it doesn't bring anything, man. Like, you don't change anything. Really, you don't. You kill a couple kids, sure. Man, you might get, famous. You might get the status you want. But eventually you're gonna be forgotten. It doesn't really matter. You get to be forgotten. Eventually Eric and Dylan are gonna be forgotten too. They will be forgotten. It doesn't matter. Like, Hitler's even getting there to a point where he's gonna be forgotten in world society. So I don't know why people do this, because they're not gonna last forever. They're not gonna last for a long time where they actually get to be famous forever. Like, there's so many people from ancient history who believe that they would be remembered forever, and they're not. There's actually people who don't even know what World War II is, surprisingly. And yeah, shit. If they can forget about World War II, then that means they can forget about you as well. You're not infinite. You're not going to stay here forever. You're going to eventually people will move on and forget about you as a whole. So I don't really get why this fame or this desire to become famous for these type of school shooters, and why they decide to do this, to think that they're gonna last forever. Eventually they're gonna be forgotten. Like, no matter what, everyone's gonna move on and forget them. They're not gonna forget what the actions they did that day, but they're gonna forget their names, and they're gonna forget who they were and what they did. They're just gonna remember their actions and what they did in those school shootings. That's all we're gonna remember, just to make sure if this ever happens again, we'd be repaired for another one. But the thing is, a lot of the times, I believe America is never repaired for these type of school shootings. I feel like they're just gonna keep happening and happening because the cops are so fucking, they're pretty shit. They don't actually go in. They're like, there's this one time, I think there was the Parkland school shooting, and a girl yelled help for because I think the cops said to yell help or whatever, and basically it alert the school shooter to come and kill them. It sucks. It really proves that the police are not even good. Like, they don't even actually save them. They just, they don't even do anything. They literally just let a girl got killed by another, the school shooter at the time. Like, how fucking pathetic was that? Why did you make her say help when that would alert the school shooter? Like, I don't know why they don't think smarter in those, like, situations. I don't know what's happening, if they're running, like, adrenaline at the time, so their brain's, like, fucking working at, like, 2% in those situations, but they shouldn't be. They should be working to their max percentage at that time, because that shit's, like, a situation where someone can die, and you have to think really hard about what you're gonna say there, because one thing you say there is gonna get someone fucking killed. And look what happened there. It got someone fucking killed. And the thing is about that, it's so fucking sad, because this shit keeps happening. America's never gonna get rid of their gun policy. That's never gonna go. That generally is gonna probably stay forever. What is super fucking sad, because I don't think America will ever change with that kind of philosophy to get rid of guns, because they have such a the freedom of the world. America is a free country, and they're gonna keep their guns. They're never gonna get rid of them. I'm not saying like countries like Australia or the British Empire, or should I say the United Kingdom. I'm not saying that people don't die in those countries, because they certainly do, because there's a lot of knife fightings and knife killings. The thing is about knives and that, and killing people with machetes and whatever, they don't get to have that satisfaction of getting a mass murder, where they get to kill they only get to kill 1, 2, 3 people. And if they're not lucky enough, even then they won't be lucky enough to get 3 kills. They'll most likely get 1, or even then, someone will know how to defend themselves against that kind of stuff. So it doesn't happen that much. Mass murders never happen in Australia or the United Kingdom, and if they do, it's mostly out in the outback, because people are allowed to have guns still, just not in high dense populations of cities and shit, and schools. So it still happens, but it's rare occurrence. America has that problem still, where you can still buy guns in towns and cities and whatever bullshit, and still go to school, and get away with it, and kill like 30 to 60 people as much as you want. And it's such a fucking shitty mess, because they don't decide to fix this kind of way. I don't think America's ever going to fix this way, and I believe it's just going to be a occurrence that's going to keep happening forever. And it's such a mess, and it's really sad that this shit's going to happen constantly. But I really hate school shooters, and I hate people who admire them. They're fucking miserable people. People who admire these school shooters are miserable. They have a sad, sad, sad fucking life. You can tell they do, because you can just see videos. I've seen so many videos of these type of people who want to commit school shootings and that, and they're just sad. They're like really depressed. They're like depressed people. And they're mostly the sad ones, but then they make other people sad because they are also grieving themselves. The school shooters are so sad that they have to go take other people's lives to make them also sad. Isn't that funny? And, you know, people like these school shooters are so fucking scared of dying. There's some of them that are actually scared of dying when they have also killed so many people. And they pretend that they, you know, feel sympathy or remorse for what they have done. But in reality, they never felt remorse or empathy. Because if they did, they wouldn't have fucking done it in the first place. But they did anyway, didn't they? They decided to pull it off because it was the best, you know, opportunity of actions at that time. For them, that's what they think. And I don't know what a school shooter thinks. I don't know what they are. I would rather not know what they are. In my opinion, they're just pathetic losers, have nothing better at the day of their lives. So they decided to go and kill people to become famous. And you know what's funny? They become famous for nothing, because at the end of the day, it never fucking lasts. Anyway, see ya.